Hey everybody, what's up? What's good? What is happening? Welcome to the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio, the voice of U.S. Army WTF Moments. I am one of your hosts, the actual King Smith, coming at you live June 1st of 2025. Ooh, that rhymed. But I'm not the only host here, as the avatar you see right here is the person, maybe AI, affectionately known as Coach. Coach, let the people know something.
What do you hear? What do you say? I'm not in a very good mood after the Eastern Conference Finals last night, so we're gonna have a great fucking show, aren't we tonight, King?
Oh, it's especially going to be great because we're going to be talking about the WNBA too, and your favorite person, Coach Angel Reese. So I'm gonna hit
I
you
don't know
with
how Michelle stays married with you.
we're going to hit you with all of the things here tonight. But before we get into our show, I want to thank everybody out there, the viewers, the listeners of WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. I give y'all the biggest salute. All right, man, Coach, we went live last
I don't give them anything.
weekend
They can all.
as it was the Memorial Day weekend in which our nation honors
Yep.
our nation's fallen. What did you do over the holiday weekend, Coach?
So I was waiting. I actually went out to Lake Lord, North Carolina, this Memorial Day weekend. Took the entire weekend off. And on Sunday, when we were supposed to do our show, I ended up falling asleep while I was watching the Coca Cola 600. Because that morning I woke up and I watched the Grand Prix of Monaco, and then I saw the Indy 500. Went out, did several other things. Went out to eat, and yeah, fell asleep all weekend. But I kind of needed it. Went up to Lake Lure. It was real nice up there. Got me a new pair of Jordans, and then spent the rest of the week trying to make sure that the Knicks, closed out the Eastern Conference Finals, and instead of freaking choking it like they did. But yeah, so it was good last weekend. It was a crappy weekend so far.
Okay, all right. I ended up recalling and sharing the memory of the crew of Shell 77. They were a
Hmm.
three-person crew out of Manas, in which the crew lost their life tragically May of 2013. But the boom operator who was on there was a really close friend of mine. I consider him a brother. He was an asshole, but he was like that lovable asshole. And one of the last gifts that I received from him, he went on a trip to Australia and he brought me back a kangaroo nutsack pouch. So a pouch made of a kangaroo nutsack. And to this day, I still have that. So I use the holiday weekend to honor the crew of Shell 77. The other two people that were on that flight went by the name Tori and Tyler. So yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace on that. I will tell you, man, I was over in Afghanistan when that happened. So if
Mm.
I'm remembering right, I remember hearing something about that. So I don't, I can't recall exactly where I heard it, but daggone, man, did not know about that.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember hearing about it though when I was there.
Yes, sir. All right, let's bring this back up. First of all, man, we've
Oh
got
yeah.
several people watching right now. That's awesome. We appreciate that. I know last night on the live stream with Weekend Co-ops, Nemo had debuted and played this game. It's escaping me right now, but there were
The new
several.
Call of Duty, yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple over. I think we hit a comma in concurrent live stream viewers. So shout out to Nemo and the WTF Nation gaming team and everybody that was a part of that live stream. Man, I checked in for a little bit, and the game looked like an ultra realistic war simulator. So not your Call
Hmm.
of Duty where you've got a
Yeah.
thousand
Oh, they weren't
respawns.
playing Call of Duty. I thought that's what they were playing.
No, it
Oh,
was
it looked nice though. It was a really nice. The graphics look great on that game, man.
Yeah, man. The graphics were insane. They added a lot of like simulation realism to it. It was more of like a one stop and you drop type thing. The game was called Gray Zone Warfare from the studio Mad Finger Games.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, it
Gray
looked
Zone
really
Warfare.
impressive. It looked impressive last night seeing them on the live stream with their game. Looked really. I mean, I don't play shit, but I do know what graphics look like. So
All right. Well, Coach, today we're going to be talking about some MLB and some interesting stats along with that. We're gonna talk about the NBA Finals and what you thought about Game Six and how you almost made. I mean, I'm not gonna say you made a good prediction. You had hope of some things out of New York, but the only hope you're ever gonna get out of New York is coming from the WNBA. Coach, you might as well be a WNBA fan at this point, because at least they're gonna give you something. The New York Liberty last year champs, baby, and they could be going back. You might as well
Who?
stop fighting it. Stop fighting
Who?
it. Stop fighting it, coach.
I'm not fighting. I'm on it. I'm being questioned. Who?
The New York Liberty.
Who?
I've said it twice already.
Yeah, exactly. I hear mumbo jumbo that you're talking about me watching real sports, and then you keep saying a certain name, and then I keep asking who because I've never heard that name. Are you speaking another language?
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
We
sorry. I
also
only speak
have
English.
the upcoming 2025 Stanley Cup Finals matchup set,
Hmm.
and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. As if you looked at the teams, you might be like, wait a minute, is this 2024 matchup or the 2025? So we're going to get a little bit into that. And then I'm going to have some commentary about Travis Hunter and his marriage to his girlfriend, who was his fiance, Leanna, and how I think that's going to end. So strap up, tune in, kick your feet up. We're going to be on for about an hour or so. And
Oh
then I'm
yeah.
going to kick y'all off. And y'all can enjoy the rest of y'all evening and get into the Monday show. Oh, one other thing to announce since I have a microphone. My daughter graduated high school. She's my one and only child.
Yeah, I
And
saw that, man.
thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you, man. And I have produced a productive member of society that is about to start her next phase of life. And technically not quite an empty nester per se, but at 40 years old, man, it's that next step is affecting my life as well, and I'm really looking forward to what she does. What advice do you have for me as a father of other AI
Uh,
coaches out there?
well, no. What else? And I'll say because all my kids have now graduated and are in college or have already graduated college. The empty nest portion you're going to see, and it's also affected a lot of us in the veteran community, that there's nothing right now. There's one less thing that you have to pay attention to. So now your focus and attention has got to go to somewhere else. It's no coincidence that as my son left for college, I really got into collecting and restoring the Jordans because that was something that we did together, and it's something that I guess I kind of brought back to it.
Okay.
But what I will also say is that I've had a little bit more of freedom that I had 25, 23 years ago before we got married. Like, it wasn't anything today. I'm home right now. My wife and my daughter are over at another graduation party so that I can, be out here. They had theirs at 7 o'clock. I was like, no, fuck you. I got a show tonight, So they're over at their, they're doing that. I'm able to do my own stuff. Now, for me. I had all three of my kids. Now it's different a little bit now because my oldest daughter, who's 21, is going to school here, but she's a commuter, so she goes back and forth to school. But I have a little bit more as far as more free time, more time for me to do what I want to do and
Mm-hmm.
not too much focus on the kids and making sure that they want to do it. I kind of put it at 18, graduating high school. We did what we can. This is that step off. And that was that one step off that I wanted to have off. And I'm taking it with them. I'm not really, communicating all with them about, hey, are you doing this? Hey, are you doing that? Hey, are you doing all those other things? They're calling me, not if they need anything from me, but they're calling in to check up on me. So that's kind of like made it a little bit better. I'm enjoying this more now than I was when they were kids. That's the best way to say it. I'm enjoying the time more now that they're older than I was when they were little.
Man, that's awesome. Everybody thought that I was gonna cry when she graduated and got her diploma. Like, I didn't shed a tear. I said, "Look, I'm gonna tell y'all now. I know I'm going to be proud of the young woman that she's become. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that her college move-in day. Oh man, I'm going to be a big ball of tears when she moves into college. Like I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to wear a hat. I'm gonna have to have glasses. I'm gonna maybe put something to stop the tears from like running down, and then I'm gonna wear a mask as well. That way, nobody's gonna catch some embarrassing photo of me. But I am gonna cry during her college moving day. I'm just gonna let y'all know that now.
Hey, nah, nah. For me, I was okay. I was actually a lot easier to get when I had to drop her off. So, yeah, you might be.
All right, let's get into some sports action here. So, over at the MLB, we have at the end of the third here, the New York Yankees taking care of the Los Angeles Dodgers 4-1. There were several games that
About
were
damn
on.
time. About time they're doing that too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we did have a final right before I was live. St. Louis was playing against Texas, and that one did end as well with 8 runs scored by Texas over the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, and I'm going to see if I could bring this stat up here. I wasn't fully quite prepped for it, but you know what? We can do this live here.
Hmm.
And boom. Okay, I'm gonna have to resize it a bit, and that's okay. Coach, you're our resident baseball guy.
Yes.
You might not be able to see this photo here, but if I send it to you on
You're
Messenger,
talking about right now. All right, yeah, yeah. Go ahead and send it to me. Or you're looking at the Major League home run leaders. I can look at everything right there. Yeah.
okay.
Even with the numbers I'm seeing. But I also got to mention something when you bring it up with the top three up there. Judge's batting average is dipped down to 380 or something at that point right now. He was batting close to 300. I think he's like 383 or 382. It might be up there for it. This kid Cal Raleigh has just had one of the best months as a catcher could ever have, and that's something to be said about this kid's actually pretty damn good up there in Seattle. Nobody has ever seen who he is because, well, he's playing for Seattle, but he is by far the best catcher in the majors right now. And Shohei, being a left-handed bat, and even in Dodger Stadium, I'm not surprised that he's leading the home runs with the way that he's doing it. But the interesting development with Shohei Ohtani is that his arm that prohibited him from pitching last season with the Dodgers has now come around where he might be able to start throwing off the mound again. That being the case, they might be using him back again into that two-way role where he was with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. So looking pretty good on that one. What I am going to say is that we are 2 months into the season. You're looking at possibility, the possibility of having of changing. I would say this: changing the directive of the game. You see who's next up there is Kyle Schwarber. He's down to what 18 home runs right now. Kyle Schwarber is by far the biggest feast or famine person on the face of the earth. I think his batting average is, what is it, 253 right there? Is that what it says?
Uh, 257 as of when this was produced a few days ago.
That might be the highest batting average Kyle Schwarber has ever had. Kyle Schwarber cannot bat over 300. If he ever bats over 300, it's going to be a miracle. He's a feast or famine type of hitter. But with what I'm seeing now with Aaron Judge and his season that he's having, even though he's behind Cal Raleigh in the ALA home runs behind Shohei in Major League, he's taking his pitches and he is driving it to all areas of the field. Every The thing with baseball is that thing has been cyclical, and it had been cyclical now for 6 to 7 years, where the uppercuts, three true results, the walk, strikeout, or home run, or become like the only option. That way is what Kyle Schwarber has. What I think Judge is doing is bringing in a new area where hopefully it's bringing back hitting the fields to all parts of the field instead of just going after the home run with an uppercut swing. And I could talk about the analytics and all that other crap on that, and we'll probably be talking about that with the Eastern Conference Finals. But That being said, looking at it for the baseball season, it looks like it's going to be a good statistical year. Yankees have a pretty balanced lineup, and looking at everything that's happening in the AL East, they're going to end up winning it again this year. Dodgers are running away with the NL West again with the highest payroll out there and the best record in baseball. So you might be looking at another Dodgers Yankees World Series again, even with the Mets trying to bring in Juan Soto. Soto hasn't done great stuff for him, but got a little bit back around today. That being said, this baseball season is going to end up being boring starting freaking June, July, and August. Up until September, we're going to have 3 months of trying to keep our eyes open while we're watching baseball games. That's all I got to say, man.
What can you speak on about the Ricky there at tied at fifth, James Wood, out of the Washington team?
I got no fucking idea
Yeah,
because he's played
and,
for Washington,
and
and that's
well,
my first time ever reading his name.
yeah. So there's that too. He's starting to turn heads early. Nobody knew where this guy came from, and as I was doing a quick search prepping for show notes here, it's like the guy came out of nowhere, but he's been turning heads early. Kyle Riley as a catcher. I don't know a lot about baseball, but I know that catchers don't typically, slap
No,
fingers.
it, no. In fact, Cal Raleigh has tied a record with two separate people, both of them Hall of Famers. It's Johnny Bench and Mike Piazza of the first 5 years of their seasons of hitting 20 home runs, or 5 consecutive seasons of hitting 20 home runs as a catcher. He is the one of three people to do that in Major League history. The other is the greatest. One of them is the greatest hitting catcher of all time. The other one is the greatest hitting catcher of all time. Home run hitting catcher of all time and hitting catcher of all time. So Cal Raleigh right there, it just sucks that he's stuck in Seattle and he's not in a larger media market because unless he's Ken Griffey Jr., you're not going to transcend the Seattle market, especially now. You're not going to transcend that in baseball whatsoever. But good on him. And this guy, James Woods, the thing with the Nationals, man, the Nationals will have the players and then they can't keep them. And the ones they try to keep end up getting injured and they end up losing it. I mean, that 19 team, if you went back and looked at all the people on that 19 team, you're like, oh, wow, that was actually, oh, if they would have stayed healthy, it would have been better. But it would be interesting to see if this kid, rookie season, like to see how he performs towards the end of the year and see if he can kind of keep that up for him. But I don't know. He's the Nationals. I don't follow the Nationals. I don't give a crap about anything in the National League because I'm an AL guy.
Rock on. Now let's see. Let's come back over here to the comment section before we go to our next segment. We got God Happened to Me in the building. That's my boo thing. Speaking of graduation parties, we went to one graduation party today, a end of season celebration for one of her coworkers who's about to retire here soon, and then another surprise. It was meant to be a surprise party for my daughter's show choir teacher who's going on to graduate school and
Oh, nice.
leaving his post as an educator where he's been at for about 4 years. So it's been bang, bang, bang today. Then come here, prep for the show, and go live.
Yeah.
Because, but you know what? That's all right because we enjoy this here at WTF Nation Radio, and I was definitely looking forward to doing this, just like Coach said that he was earlier. Let's see.
Hell yeah.
Let's move over to hockey and let's talk about the Stanley Cup here. Now,
Yeah. Hey, and before we begin, the great disappointment of every single one of our fans, every single one of our listeners, all of our watchers, it's a great disappointment. The Dagon Oilers beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. So unfortunately, we did not get the Scottish Queen showing off her massive fucking tits again. So yeah, now we're stuck with this as the Stanley Cup Finals.
man, while we might not have her being able to bring it up to the finals, we can certainly Bring her back on the screen. Let's do
Oh,
that.
yes, we can.
Let's bring up the Scottish Queen.
Bobrovsky, he's a dick, the Chuck's a dick, everybody's a fucking dick. Last time I was here, we lost. I was a wee bit excited, kind of wiggled my boobs a bit. Massive fucking tit! This time the boobs were nowhere to be seen, boys, focus, and they fucking did it! The pheromones were fucking rocking.
Yeah,
I
you know
rubbed them
what?
all over the guys next to
good
me.
thing
They
about her
fucking
is
loved
that,
it!
Yeah, she was there for the wins. Okay, she wasn't there for the loss. It would have sucked. But yeah, glad that she was at least there for the wins.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but
All
she'll be back
right.
next year.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And look, this is her chance to capitalize on her fame and not just be like a 15-minute wonder, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the 2025 Stanley Cup final is going to feature the Panthers versus the Oilers. And this is also the first back-to-back championship rematch in over a decade. Last year, the Panthers edged out the Oilers in a dramatic 7-game series, and both teams are eager to settle the score once again. Game 1 is scheduled for Wednesday, June the 4th in Edmonton at 8 p.m. Eastern, with broadcasts available on TNT, truTV, Max, and Sportsnet in Canada. The Panthers, led by goaltender Sergei Bobrovsky, I just like that name, are aiming for their second consecutive title. Bobrovsky has been stellar this postseason, boasting a 1.57 goals against average and a .935 save percentage over the past 10 games. On the other side, the Oilers, powered by Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, are determined to avenge last year's defeat. McDavid, who is seeking his first Stanley Cup, leads a team that has shown resilience throughout this playoffs. Coach, what do you have to add?
So history may have a little bit to do with this as well. So the last 3 times there have been rematches in the Stanley Cup Finals. Each time there's always been a flip flop. So I believe the third time it happened, I believe it was the Reds, the Blackhawks and the Bruins. They traded off. I know Florida, not the Panthers, excuse me, the Lightning and some other team traded off as well. And then it happened a third time when there was another repeat. So this is the fourth time that there's been back-to-back, rematches out there. It's boding well for the Oilers because the Panthers beat them to 7 games. Looking at what happened within the finals, both of them had a tougher second round than they did the third round. So both of the teams are somewhat rested. Both of the teams are evenly matched. I'm going history on this one, and it's been 30 now. Well, remember, we kept saying this. 1993 was the last time they did it, so it's been 32 years since Canada has won the cup. It's got to end on this one. I'm taking Edmonton on this.
Okay. When I looked at what the current Vegas odds were, what happened to my notes? Hold on, I have to bring this up. Let's see. Stanley Cup odds 2025. I just had it up and I think I accidentally closed out what Vegas had it at. Let's see. Vegas has the series to the Oilers.
Yeah.
With the Oilers winning game 1 and that the series will likely go 6 games.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go Oilers in 7 just because of how matched they are and how familiar that they are. I'm actually going to go with the 7-game series. Something's got to go 7 games because the NBA Finals ain't going to go 7.
Yep, and it looks like most sports writers have it in either 6 games or 7 games, but there's not that many sports writers giving it to the Florida Panthers here. So yeah, if y'all want to at least try to make some money, I'm putting my money on the Oilers as well.
Now here is where the kind of the telltale thing is regarding this series.
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton and Florida again. This is last year it was, and then this year it is again. It is the longest commute of any championship team, period. Between Florida and Vancouver, it's over 6,000 miles. Yeah, for Edmonton and Florida, it's over 6,000 miles. So just think of the travel that these guys are going to have to do over the next 2 weeks for that. I would say whoever has I don't think a team on the road is going to win. So that's where I'm kind of coming from as far as Edmonton going for it. I don't think the road teams are going to end up winning. You're going to have too many. You're going to have too much travel, and the Oilers already have the advantage as far as the better record. I'm going to give that to them for that's the reason why I say 7.
Okay. All right, let's see. That's all we have for Stanley Cup action. Again, that's going to be kicking off game 1 Wednesday, June the 4th. We also have another finals matchup here, but before we get into this upcoming NBA finals, Coach,
Ew.
that Indiana New York Knicks series might have been one of the more exciting series to watch this entire NBA playoffs. Now, it looked like New York might have a chance early on, but Indiana stole game 1 and
Yeah. And game two was the gut punch after the game 2. So I didn't, yeah, them winning game 2 in Garden, that solidified the series. That ended the series right then and there.
yep. Now, I don't think many people saw this Pacers team advancing through the East the way that they did. And while many people want to say that Halliburton was the leader,
Yeah.
Pascal Siakam has been just quietly doing the damn thing on both the offensive and defensive side, and
Yeah.
rightfully won the Eastern Conference MVP. Even though Halliburton, this series, especially in was it game 4, Halliburton had a monstrous triple double with no turnovers. The first person that had over a 30-point triple double game with 0 turnovers in NBA history. Siakam ended up getting the Eastern Conference MVP. Do you think that he deserved it, or should it have gone to Tyrese Halliburton?
No, Siakam deserved it. Siakam deserved it, period. And let me give you a great analogy as far as the things that I was worried about. What made me worry about this on the series? Game 1. Actually, I'm going to give you here's the analogy, and then I'll go into game 1. The analogy that I had was in 2003 when the Yankees were playing the Red Sox in the ALCS. Everybody was worried about Manny Ramirez, but I was worried about Big Papi in his first season. And holy shit, did he ever freaking destroy it? He did more damage than Manny Ramirez ever did, and Big Papi ended up being in the Hall of Fame. And the reason why it was everybody was worried about Manny instead of him. Let me bring this up about game 1. As I'm watching game 1, it was Saturday night, right? I can't remember if it was Saturday night or Friday night, whichever night it was. As I'm watching it, I'm looking at the fourth quarter, and I'm like, okay, this is getting interesting. Siakam could not miss. I have never seen a guy shoot 8 threes in a quarter, and he did. If I'm right, he was 8 for 9, and he did not miss whatsoever. Siakam was on every play in game 1.
That was Neesmith who
yeah
who had went off 8 for 9.
Oh no, wait, Oh wait a minute, no, wait a minute, hold on. Siakam got it, not Neesmith. Am I thinking of the wrong person?
Siakam got MVP. Neesmith is the one who went off. 8
okay,
for 9
Neesmith's the one who went off. Yep. All right.
And nobody
Neesmith
saw that coming.
No, Neesmith was the one that. Okay, never mind. I got the two confused. Fuck me. Okay, why the hell did I think Neesmith was the one who got the MVP and not Siakam?
I don't know.
All right, look, Siakam was in on a lot of different plays too. I do think Halliburton's dagger or Halliburton's bounce, man, that was the kick in the fucking balls to every Knicks person. Period. End of statement. On top of that, Reggie Miller was doing freaking play-by-play on that. So there you go with that. Look, Halliburton's 2 at the end of it to tie it. That bounce went 15 feet up in the fucking air, and when it came down in the hoop, I don't think the net moved.
Yep.
Okay, and when that happened, everything was gone from that for the series. Now, Halliburton had that moment. Naismith got game one. See, I thought it was Siakam with game one. And then I remember seeing Siakam on almost every other play and involved with a lot of things, especially dealing with the, dealing on the interior because, the Knicks can't play fucking defense to save their lives. The two best players that they have is their point guard and their center, and both of them don't play defense. Karl Anthony Towns does not play defense, and neither does freaking neither does Dagon Jalen Brunson. And Hart, Mitchell, Anunoby, none of that, or they couldn't keep up with it, man. And Bridges, they couldn't. They put a valiant effort to it. That being said, we were also talking about two teams that evenly matched up because they're at that second tier, if you get where I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
We're literally looking at two.
They had damn near identical records.
They had they were both, just going with everything that they had. They were not the elites in the Eastern Conference. They had to beat the teams in front of them. And look, the Knicks ended up getting the Knicks got lucky with the injuries, and Indiana got lucky as well in the second round. So let's not just put this out as, but they are good teams. I just think that right now, OKC had a historic season. SGA is playing the best basketball in the NBA right now. This finals is going to be a 5-game finals at most. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think OKC's, just not experienced enough in this situation to, actually see what's happening in the finals. But neither is Indiana, and something's going to end up happening where OKC is going to make a mistake. But OKC has had a historic season with SGA. It's going to be a disaster for the Pacers. So It was going to be this, and I hate to say this too. It was going to be a disaster if the Knicks showed up. I even said that at the beginning of this playoffs. They make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and they win. Yep, I'm on. Be one happy man. But I never said anything about after the NBA Finals because I was hoping somehow Minnesota ended up pulling off an upset. But yeah, even with Minnesota now, even with the OKC out there, this is going to be the whitest basketball. I'm saying this whitest fan base in basketball NBA Finals history. Period. End of statement. Have you ever met any brothers from Indianapolis or Oklahoma City? No, I haven't either. Okay? Look, and I say this right there. There's a shit ton of honkies over in Boston and in L.A., but man, they have nothing compared to Oklahoma and Indiana. There's more honkies there per capita than freaking, than over here in my house. That it's actually true. But
I've been to both areas during the NBA season, next to where they play their home games at. And yeah, let's just say I was in a sea of one.
The only team that could have had a whiter fan base was the Utah Jazz. So, and just remember, both of the times that the Jazz went to the finals, they had to go against Chicago Thugs. So there you go. That's why they lost.
Man.
But seriously, this is the whitest finals that is going to be on record. And you know who doesn't watch the NBA? Old white people in Oklahoma City. You know who watches more NBA? Old white people in Indiana. So you know what? It's going to end up being a fucking wash, man. It's going to be a wash. Old white people are going to be in heaven. Oh, this is like the old days. Yes. Oh, yeah. Fucking Indiana.
This is not the finals that people saw. Folks saw with the way that the Oklahoma City Thunder played. They saw them coming out of the
Yeah.
West. Out of the East, it was two teams. It was Cleveland, who was number one, who had a very similar regular season that the OKC Thunder had, playing great defense, and they were second. Let me see. Actually, they were first in points per game over the OKC Thunder, whereas Cleveland was 121.9, OKC was 120.5, and the Thunder held their opponents to 107.6 points per game, while Cleveland was at 112 points per game with a 9.5 points differential, while the Thunder was just dominating with a 12.9 points differential. So I'm looking at it like this. When I looked at Cleveland just destroy the Heat, which I'm like, okay, that's just not a matchup that nobody would be surprised that that one was a full sweep. Nobody, I also didn't see the Pacers winning the series over Cleveland in 5 games, going winning game 1 and 2. I'm sorry, Cleveland losing games 1 and 2 at home, winning game 3 on the road, and then losing game 4 and game 5. The Pacers literally went 5 games against the Bucks, 5 games against Cleveland, and 6 games against the New York Knicks. I think that this isn't going to be a pushover the way that you just stated, and that this will go 7 games, but the Thunder are going to win it in 7. Clip it, and we can come back to it.
No. In fact, here, let's clip this. Clip this. Oklahoma City in 5, SGA MVP, lowest viewership in NBA Finals history.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to say 7-game series, Oklahoma City with SGA as MVP. And those are the two things that I'm going to stand on. I'm not going to say the lowest, but I'm also not naive enough to say that it's going to be up there either.
Hey, I mean, let's be honest here. We led off the show with baseball. We led off the show with hockey before we ever got to the NBA Finals. That should tell you its precedence right there.
No
Just
doubt.
saying.
No doubt. Let's see. Let's take a look at our viewers here. We have over 110 live viewers right now. So to the viewers out there, I give you a salute. And if Coach could move his arms, he would give you a salute
I
as
wouldn't.
well.
I'd probably scratch my crotch, and that would be something good for him.
Shout out to
I only do that just because I'm the coach, and that's a signal.
no doubt. Shout out to Raymond Trueblood over on Facebook with the shades emoji and the thumbs up. We appreciate you tuning in as well. Now let's see. We have a couple of clips here to bring up, and
Hey,
in this first clip,
King.
yes,
Can I make one quick NBA point before we move on?
yeah, go ahead. You have the floor.
It's not all right. So, just real quick about the NBA, and I want to kind of bring this up, and it just what I have noticed. All right, and this is the way the NBA has, just shaped itself. We are now in the midst of the ending of, well, this is now the streak since the 70s, where we are going to have a new champion. And if you look at this, okay, ever since the Kevin Durant, what's it called? Ever since the Kevin Durant, uh, what's it called? Golden State Warriors. Ever since those two teams, then we had the Toronto. There has been a new champion since 2019 on. That hasn't happened since the 70s. All of the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and beginning of the aughts, we had back-to-back teams. We had some single teams that had won, but the vast majority of the teams that had won those were ones that were perennially winning, You had 4 different dynasties, if we want to bring that up in that time period, or 5. You had the Celtics and the Lakers, those 2 teams. You then had, if you want to bring other ones, you had the Bad Boys, then you had the Bulls, then you had the Rockets, who went back to back, then you had the Bulls again, then you started a string of the San Antonio winning multiple year after years, with the Lakers winning a three-peat. Lakers win another 2, and you had a couple single seasons out there, and then you had the back-to-back years with the Heat, and then the years with Golden State. You had some single wins, but you've never had somebody who won singularly every season since the 70s. So this is kind of a weird period, just in Major League, in the NBA, because we are now going on 7 seasons where we're going to have a new champion and no repeat champions. And I'm saying 7 because when we cut it out of 2019, we bring the 18 team in. That brings back the Golden State one, the second one. That's kind of like that couple of championships that the Celtics won in the early 70s after Russell retired, the residual kind. But yeah, we're coming into something pretty auspicious in the NBA that has only happened, like I said, during the 70s.
We talked about this in one of our prior episodes, and how
Yeah.
Athletes
I think we
now,
actually did that last year, though. I think
yep,
we did that last year at this time. Yeah.
in that even at the college rankings, just with the access that these athletes have, there's going to be a lot more parity. And really, if you really want to think about it, right? Because just like you said, so if you go back to the 70s, you had the emergence of some of like the newer powers. If you look at the 80s were all about the Celtics Lakers rivalry. 90s,
Yeah.
Bulls, no doubt. The 2000s, you had the Lakers and the Spurs dominating, with the Heat kind of, off in there at one point, and the
Well,
Boston
yeah.
Celtics. If you look at since 2020, right, and you'd have to go back, let's see, take the back-to-back Golden State. Now you're looking
Yeah.
at the last
The
decade
19
of sports
Raptors.
being
Yeah.
pretty much parity, where you got the
Yeah.
Raptors, then the Lakers, then the Bucks, Golden State, Denver,
Then
Boston.
the Golden State. Then yeah.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
yeah,
and now either most likely OKC. So yeah, pretty. And the last time that happened, if we want to bring them down for it, it actually started with the Celtics, ended with the Lakers. But in that time period, Golden State, Portland, um, freaking Washington, and the Supersonics. And I think the Bucks may have as well one of those years. It might have been one of the Buck years I might be missing, but all of them ended up winning a championship, all right until the Lakers and the Celtics dynasty started.
yep. Now I
Yep.
have to highlight Tyrone Waugh over on Facebook, when he was when we were talking about this being the whitest NBA finals in recent history. He said no whoops, no tabletop jumps, and no rhythm section. That right there, if I could award something for funniest comment of the day, I would give you an award for that, Tyrone. That had me cracking up laughing.
Damn.
That's
only
awesome,
thing that's
man.
gonna be served is freaking Coors or Tag on Budweiser. That's the only thing drinking in that place. There ain't no
Man,
hard liquor going
absolutely.
on there. No Hennessy is gonna be sold at those places.
Yo, so I couldn't bring up this clip, but there's a video being circulated, um, and it's a lot of race stuff that's going on into it. Again,
Yeah.
I've been to Indiana. I've been to Indianapolis. Let's say I didn't see a lot of me walking around, but there's a video of a black guy, and the backstory is this guy didn't want to pay his tab, and there was a motorcycle gang, the Outlaws, that were in that same bar, and the guy ends up getting jumped, and there's varying accounts of what actually occurred and what was said. But as I was watching the video, I was like, you have to know your surroundings, and to know that as a single person, where everybody else is in opposition of you, you should be thinking about your safety and not your pride at that point. So word to the wise, if you're ever in a place like Indiana or OKC, know your surroundings. That's really all I'm gonna say to that. All right. Let's
Yeah.
see. We have spam in the chat, and that will get
Oh,
you
yeah, I see
blocked.
that.
Boom. All right. So now that we have blocked that, let's go over here.
Goodbye, Lisa.
I've got a couple of clips here. The first one is a feel good story in that we are going to talk about sportsmanship here. Now, I have watched a tennis game in real life. There's a lot about the sport that I don't understand, but one of the rules are as you hit the shot, you have to have control of the racket the entire time. Well, take a look at this clip
Yes.
and see what happens. So it's a back and forth. Player hits it. Boom. Now, the umpire awarded the point to the guy that had the last hit. And I forget their names as I was looking this up. But as you can see, the player that lost his racket, watch what he does. Oh, but he did not have it at the time that it struck. And he went straight to the umpire after originally getting awarded the point and say, nope, I don't need the point because I didn't have the racket in my hand. And I'm like, you know what? At a time where everybody's all about winning and everything like that, there is indeed good sportsmanship.
Well, I'll give the guy his sportsmanship. A lot of people are going to end up shaking their heads about his sportsmanship, and I can understand the reasoning for it. But hey, you know what? The guy does. We'll give the hats off for him being right on this one. And I can actually tell you when that rule went into effect regarding the racket being brought up in the air. This was remember when Sports Illustrated used to come out with like the sports greatest bloopers,
Yes.
VCR cassette, or VHS, VHS thing, and you would see all these wacky bloopers of around the sports, and then you had to buy, a year's worth of Sports Illustrated, blah blah blah. So on one of them, I remember seeing Jimmy Connors, American tennis player. Ball was high up in the air, and he was, he's a goofy little guy, and he literally like took it and like flung the racket up like about like 10 feet in the air to hit the ball, and it come down. The rule was implemented after that happened that the tennis racket must stay in your hand in order to, in order for it to count. That guy throwing it, I mean, he probably lost it, hit the ball by accident. I've seen things where, freak things like that can happen. So, good enough on the guy out there, but there is that rule. I mean, think about it this way. If I was throwing my racket everywhere, trying to hit the ball, in that sense, I could have thrown it, hit it, got it in. But what they're really concerned about was somebody taking the racket and literally hitting it. And at the same time he was hitting it, the thing's going forward with the forward momentum. So think of it as a safety way. That's the reason why the hand in the racket rule has to be in for tennis, because it's for the other player's safety. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. We got somebody in the comment section. Let me go back and find it here. And something that James said, bye bye bot. And Thomas Morocco over on Facebook said, I remember the swimsuit editions. So do I, Thomas. So do
Man,
I.
I remember those too. Yeah.
Couldn't wait.
I remember the sneaker phone that you could also buy too. The phone that had the sneaker that you turned it on the other end and it had a phone, and that came out from Sports Illustrated.
Oh
the
wow,
sneaker phone! I kid you not. Yeah,
that's not something that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
A sneaker
Yeah,
phone.
they had the sneaker phone. Yeah,
know-
Sports Illustrated sneaker phone, man.
You just talked about something. We're old enough to know that when you wanted to see those highlights like that, you had to either get some type of compilation or hope that ESPN covered it, right? But I remember waiting for those because I always thought that the bloopers were really interesting. Now, I mean, you can pick up your smartphone and catch anything instantly, right? And man,
yeah.
Yep.
So in New York City, Len Berman was NBC News's sports anchor for years. And on like Saturday, or I can't remember what show. It was either the Saturday show or the Sunday show. Was always like that nightly news was always like news of the weird, and it would all show the bloopers of it, man. And you had the little funny little horns and segments, all that. And then ESPN, you used to have the not top plays of the week that you used to have to wait for. Yeah, now you see it. It's automatic. As soon as it happens, it ends up becoming a reel and a GIF that you might be able to use as an emojicon. By the end of the game. Yeah.
Yep. Now let's see what else
days.
do we have here. The next thing, tell me what you know about baseball. What happens when a player hits a home run? Walk through it, process by process.
Okay, so starting from the pitch, batter, pitcher throws the pitch. Batter has to swing with it. Obviously makes contact with the ball, stays within the batter's box, doesn't do everything correct. Ball has to travel over the outfield wall, staying in within the fair regions. If it goes over the foul, you realize that I'm explaining ground rules for a freaking thing that has about 7 million what ifs, right?
Yeah.
So if it goes over the foul pole, as long as it was on the trajectory over the foul pole and doesn't go to the foul area of the foul pole, it is considered a home run. If the ball bounces on a certain yellow line, depending on what field it is, that's considered a home run, but it has to hit a yellow line. It can't hit the off line. If the ball gets stuck, it's considered a ground rule double. If the ball bounces into it, it's considered a ground rule double. And if there's fan interference, it is automatically called an out.
Okay. Now,
so that's where that comes in.
What does the player do that was at bat once they hit the home run?
Well, they have to go all the way around. They have to touch first, they have to touch second, they have to touch third, they have to go home, and then they have to touch home plate. So
what happens if they
run.
Miss any of those bases going around?
There has been rules where if they have missed the base, they can go back, tag the base that they had missed, and call them out. So yes, that has been the way that it has to happen. So yeah.
So this is particular. Now I asked about baseball, but this is a softball clip.
Or the player gets tagged, or you can physically walk over to where the player is, tag them, and they can call them out. That's an even more awkward moment.
All right, watch what happens on this clip.
All right.
Looking for her first hit of the World Series. Grant, first pitch swinging, and she sends it out, and UCLA ties it up with 2 outs in the top of the 7th.
Ooh, okay. So if I can go back.
All right.
In the top of the 7th.
Right there.
So they're looking at 2 elements here. One is whether or not the runner touched home plate on her initial pass. It looks to me like she may have missed it. And then the second issue is whether or not she was physically assisted by her teammates. However, the rule specifies they can't be physically.
So what they said in the audio was they were looking at 2 things, 2 elements of this play. Number 1, did she step on the plate? Number 2, before she crossed, did any of her teammates assist or touch her before she crossed?
Yeah.
Assisted by a runner who has not yet crossed the plate. So this is going to be a tough interpretation for the replay officials.
Yeah.
After review, the calling on the field is upheld.
I'm gonna give this on a judgment right here.
Okay.
All right. this is the reason why those hits you only really see those in the professionals as well as everywhere else. There's a reason why you don't see people meeting up around the plate, especially after a home run. Okay, you see it in softball, and it happened during the game. If that was a walk off, that's the only time you see that in professional baseball. The part of the reason is for it is because that said celebration, it is impossible for anybody to have a clear view of those plates. So it has to be a definitive, you hit the home run, the game's over. And they give you what is considered they give it an area thing. Like I would say this, vicinity, or you stepped over the base or something like that, you're okay. But it's usually umpire's discretion at the letter of the law, especially when you have a crowd around you. That's why those crowds should not happen at the games. It is that discretion. If she stepped over it, then she is out. The pitcher can get a new ball from the umpire because the ball's out of play, tag her, and her being out. Yes, that can happen. She has to actually hit touch the base. There's, like I said, this is that gray area rule. It's kind of like what's a foul at the end of the game. You have to that freaking home run celebration with all of her team. Yeah, great. That's great that she's showing the team, but it's fucking up everything where you cannot have a clear view of the plate. And there sure as hell is no clear view of the plate from this woman right there. I can't tell if her toe has touched the outer corner of home plate right there, or if that back heel is on the back end of home plate.
Yep. Now, this ended up being a 10-minute delay as the officials went to review the ruling. And despite the lengthy review, the umpires upheld the call that she was safe, and saying that while the player for UCLA, Grant, did miss the plate, that play was not reviewable, and they stated a niche addendum in a section in the rule book. So Tennessee did challenge it as it was 2 outs already. So had that been ruled out from the challenge, the game would have been over. Now, fortunately for Tennessee, they did survive and did win in this game, but not without controversy.
Yeah, and baseball is one of the more baseball and football are one of once you think you've seen all the variables, you see a brand new one. Like I said, softball is the only one to do this. I don't want to bash just women, but when somebody does hit a home run, regardless of what inning it is, you do not see everybody crowd around the plate to congratulate the person. Granted, it happens in softball, but at that time, you have to have somebody around there to keep the order of what's happening on the play. You don't only do that if it's a celebration, end of game type of moment. Mm-hmm. That's not end of game. That is putting your team ahead. So for fuck's sake, that should not have happened right there. There should have been a referee. There should have been an umpire right there, clearing those women off of there and ensuring that everything was cleared so that she could have gotten onto the base and been okay. Yeah, I'll just say that. Because guarantee you that rule's going to be out of there next year.
Mm-hmm.
Something like this, if this keeps happening. Now this was in a Women's College World Series game. This wasn't in the final, right? This was
not the finals. No, this was the matchup before the semifinals.
Yeah, so we're still in the quarterfinals right now. Mm-hmm. Had this happen in but I'm going to say this: I have a 50-50 chance that you're not going to see those women celebrating a home run at home plate like that again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me, it always goes back to discipline. A lack of discipline in any area could be costly. And in this case, it almost was. Ultimately, though, the volunteers...
You lack discipline! Oh, fuck.
Let's see.
I can't remember what freaking movie that came from. Jesus. You lack discipline!
Let me go in here and check the comments before we go to our next story. We have over on YouTube, Richard Bronco said, "Howdy ho, I still made it on Flow Racing today." And he dropped in. He gave a quick hey and an update. So salute to you, Richard. And then gave a quick deuces. I always appreciate that. I hope you hit the like button as you popped in and popped back out, Richard. But thanks for tuning in, my man. Let's see. I got one more clip before we end with our final story here. Coach, I used to be somebody that went to the gym all the time. Now, inside of the gym, you have certain gym culture, gym etiquette, if you will. If you are using the weights, you rack your weights. That is a known thing. If you don't put your weights up, somebody will come over and kindly correct you on what it is that you should be doing. After you use a machine or a certain area, if you are sweaty, you wipe down that area before you continue and go on about your next thing. You also don't just hold up a certain area or machine for 30 straight minutes thinking that you're the only one that can use it when there's other people there getting their workout in as well. So with all of that being said, I'm going to show you a clip and I'm going to ask you what your take is on the clip that we're about to see. Take a look. Right. There is no audio that needs to be played. As a matter of fact, I have to mute it due to copyright, but here's the video here. So you see a lady, she's on some monkey bars, she's swinging, and then boom, somebody comes into view, looks like they're adjusting a stereo, and just doesn't even bother to look or could tell that somebody was using the monkey bars coming that direction. And this person puts up captions as she happened to be recording and wrote, I was dead wondering if she was there the whole time or just moved there. Like there's no way you're in my way right now. And then I didn't notice her until I got to that bar. And then she stops and she's just kind of hanging. And the person finally turns, sees her, and still doesn't really move. Now, I played this back a couple of different times, but she started out by saying, I hate dumb, oblivious people in the gym. Now, she was already on here. Boom. And working her way down. Boom, 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 boom. She's going. And just, bam, right there. Now, if you're going to come in and out, that's one thing. But to sit there, and how do you not feel this person approaching, swinging off to your left? I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. So what's your take on this video?
I don't know why she stopped. She should have kept going. Moved on, kicked her in the head, and said, excuse me.
Huh.
Yeah, I would have done that. I mean, look, came in like acting like she owned the thing and then moved it up there. I would have been like, nah, bump this. Bitch, get out of my way. I'm not gonna make a thing. I would have ended up moving, you know? That's why I said I would have moved her. I wouldn't have discussed anything else. I would have moved her, especially in that situation. But that's me.
Now, on the Instagram page that the lady posted the video on, she put the caption, "No shade. I need y'all to be a little more aware of your surroundings in the fitness center. There's no way you're interrupting me to blast music on the speaker. This is a gym, not the club, with love," and some heart emojis. "Do we need a course on gym etiquette?" Now, the person that came in who was in the way saw the video because the video went viral. This got posted May 22nd, and she writes the following. Okay. "Hi, I'm the girl in the video. Let's clear this up. I'm many things, a content creator, an entrepreneur, and I work as a licensed clinical social worker. How dare you post this without the full context? I was completely unaware of your presence and didn't see your phone recording. This is a public gym, not a private studio. As a content creator, I am always mindful of my surroundings, but no one is obligated to adjust unless we're made aware. Respect goes both ways. You laughed and said it was okay at the time. If I was truly in your way, you had every opportunity to speak up, but you didn't. Don't get bold online now. And useless? The only thing useless is that sports top of yours clinging on for dear life. I'd be more than happy to recommend some supportive activewear. You clearly need it physically and maybe emotionally too. And the comments were not supportive of her. She got on here and thought she ate, as they say.
Yeah.
But the comments lit her ass up. She had 4,567 replies. And instead of like letting it die down or letting it just, you know what, they're eating me up, maybe I'm wrong, she went and defended herself in almost every single comment, man. It was hilarious.
Double down on stupid, huh? All right,
man. Yep. And then you know
that doesn't surprise me.
Yep. And the other part that told me a lot about,
you know what? Actually, it's when she started off that when she gave the resume right at the beginning. That's what noticed. I had a feeling this was not going to end right. As soon as I am a blank, a content creator and a social worker. No,
yep.
This ain't going to end good.
And
not going to end good.
What's also interesting is the person talked about being oblivious. She never in any comment used the word useless, but in this person's response, she added the word useless and then went to talk about her body, and nobody at any point from the original person to any of the comments talked about anybody's body. So it's like, why did she add there and go into the whole body shaming thing as well? And because of this, so I'm gonna come back in here. When she walks into frame, the like no way you're in my way right now blocked her route. Nobody would have known who she was until she came into the comments to defend her actions. And her actions were entirely wrong. But sometimes, and look, I'm just going to say this, and y'all can come for me all y'all want to. The lady that was in the way is Hispanic, and sometimes them Hispanic women be feisty, and you can't tell them nothing. I said what I said. Come for me all you want to.
All right. Look, you can take that heat round right there, okay? I've already taken enough heat rounds by saying that it was going to be the whitest NBA Finals in NBA history. So, yeah, you can take the heat round from the Latino crowd tonight, man.
I'm going to need for you to defend me, coach.
Hey, get CQ and get Ice on board with you. Come on, man. Those two can back you up on that, all right? Get them. Shit, even get Nemo. Nemo King needs your help too, buddy.
All right.
They can help you with those heat rounds, man. I can't help you with those ones. I'll help you from every other one. I'll even stick up with you for the other brothers, you know.
Come on, comment section. Tell me I'm right. Y'all know. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's see. Now, the final thing that we have here, Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter.
Thank God you're not bringing up that freaking thing I sent you.
You know, I thought about it, but
don't.
I looked at the time.
Don't, because we don't have enough. Thank God. Good, we don't have enough time.
Not now, but I also have something that I want to bring along with it that is going to enhance that segment. So
we have no time.
We'll save that for another day. Let's see. We also need to bring up what we were going to talk about with our GOAT debate. So maybe that's what we do next Sunday.
Because I know that person sure as hell ain't the GOAT.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to send you another video. There is, all right, fuck it. I am going to bring this up because this is a fucking good one.
Uh-oh.
There is a group of sports bettors out of Canada. I can't.
Stop.
Oh, is that where we're going? Oh, yes.
It was two pieces to it. Yes. So that was one of them.
Hey, what day are you up to? Because day 6 just dropped.
I'm currently up to date with all of
Oh, you're
it.
on day 6?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
So
I just
yes,
saw day 6.
that's
why.
so there were two elements that I wanted to do. I wanted to present that. I wanted to showcase something else, and then I actually brought up some stats around like the averages and things like that. But I want to be able to bring all of that together.
Yeah.
So we'll see how long this goes. But yes.
You better play the Undertaker's music because I'm gonna fucking bury it. I am gonna fucking bury it. Oh my god. I'm licking my fucking chops from this one.
Now, we are going to finish up.
I might be looking forward to this more than OJ's eulogy.
Oh, it's going to be great. Trust me. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Now, the final story that we have here for today, the number 2 overall pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars and the 2024 Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter, married his longtime partner, Leanna Lanier, in a lavish ceremony at the barn in Faith Farms in Tennessee on May 24th of 2025. The couple, who's been dating since early 2022, celebrated their union in a black and white themed event featuring Lanier wearing a 2 custom piece gown by designer Justin Alexander. If you're into fashion, you might know who that is. I have no idea. The highlight of the evening, however, was Travis Hunter surprising his new wife with a Mercedes-Benz AMG G63 Brabus 800, which is a 6-figure wedding gift. However, the wedding itself has been the center of online controversy. There was a viral video from the reception that shows Leanna seemingly dodging a kiss from Hunter during their first dance, leading to widespread speculation about the authenticity of their relationship. Critics have often labeled her as a gold digger, questioning her intentions, especially after receiving such an extravagant wedding gift. And the absence of a prenuptial agreement, which is crazy to me, has further fueled concerns about Hunter's financial future. In response to recent backlash of the couple, NFL veteran Cam Newton has publicly defended them, which this dude has no reason to talk about anything, because if you know his lifestyle, you know that this dude got like 80,000 kids by 80,000 different women. Okay?
That's like me commenting on African American relationships. Okay, that's not fucking happening. No.
So he came on in his very successful podcast, 4th and 1, and talked about that people need to emphasize empathy and respect. He highlighted that there's a double standards and unfair scrutiny that she's faced, and reminded the public that the people behind the headlines are real people deserving compassion. Now, to end it, despite this criticism, both Hunter and Leanna have shared heartfelt moments from their wedding on social media, expressing their love and commitment right now. As Travis Hunter embarks on his NFL career, the couple appears to be focused on their future together, navigating the challenges of a very public life with resilience. Now, Coach, I'm going to show 2 pictures here. The first one that I'm going to display up on the screen is a picture from their wedding. So this is the lovely young couple, which, man, Travis Hunter to me seems like a genuinely playful young guy. We have to remind ourselves that while he is a young, rich athlete, he is also a guy only a few years removed from high school. And he seems like a playful dude. And man, this young lady, from what we've seen, because look, we can talk about them because they are public figures. They have their relationship out there on social media. She seems like somebody that is in it for herself right now, that is very self-absorbed. And I don't understand how Coach Sanders, who had a very, very nasty divorce from his first wife, didn't guide this young man to something different with her. Now, this right here, lovely picture. I give a salute to them both. But this next photo that I'm going to display, this told me everything. So I wanted to zoom in. This is her wedding finger. Look at that tattoo that's on her wedding hand. This tattoo, and I tried to find some of her earlier photos. When I went back and looked at pictures from 2022, like just before their relationship, that's a money sign if y'all can't tell. That money sign tattoo on her ring fucking finger is brand new. And if anything, that tattoo right there tells me everything that I need to know.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter is going to find out the hard way that not having a prenup and picking wrong is going to be something that could derail his career. And the reason why I say that, Coach, and then I'm going to concede and you'll have the floor, is that instead of focusing on his sport, focusing on his craft and things, he's young and in his prime, about to juggle a relationship that is going to give him stress. And in my opinion, he's going to be stressed from his relationship and not going to be a value add. And instead of focusing and keeping the peace and becoming the best wide receiver or corner, whatever he predominantly plays for in the NFL, he's going to be navigating his relationship. And he's going to have the same effect that Zion Williams, who is in the news right now, are going to have. Zion is a dumbass. And that's why his NBA career is pretty much done because of his decisions. Travis is gonna have the same. It's gonna have the same outcome, but for different reasons. And his reason is that he simply picked the wrong one. That's not gonna be supportive. Now, if I'm wrong, I will gladly come on here on this live stream 10 years from now and say I was wrong, and give that young woman an apology for besmirching her name and intentions. But I don't think this marriage lasts 7 years.
Man, there's part of me that wants that to happen, just so that you can apologize on air. But there's part of me that's being realistic right now, and she is too young to know what the hell everything in her life is going to be like. I'm also going to say this too. Look, I had to Google her before I went on, when we came on here, and looking at some of the things. If the Hindu Times, or if if the Hindu Stan page is reporting you, okay, and if you're making things in India about how people are being perceived, it's not starting to be the perceiving. It's starting to become the reality. I've seen this woman on just whatever picture she has sharing on social media. Great, not a problem. Y'all are together and putting up fine things. I can see that this one's going to be a freaking just, why are you not here? Why are you doing this, et cetera, and you're not taking care of my emotional needs? I can see this happening with her because she's too young and immature to know what exactly she has in front of her. So, yeah. Travis, dude, look, I hope you make a couple Pro Bowls. That's all I'm going to say. And by the way, I hope you also get a good deal. Get a good sponsorship with Hyundai. You're going to win Super Bowl one day, and you're going to drive off in a Hyundai because this bitch is going to end up taking you for all you got.
Now, he does have a quote-unquote father figure in Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, who has navigated that particular life incident great. However, Coach Prime was also generational talent. Now, people are saying that Travis Hunter, he was a generational college athlete for sure, but some of these early camp videos doesn't look like a guy that is going to be inserted and dominant right away, whereas Coach Prime was dominant very early on in his career.
And you know what? Let's Darren Woodson. No, excuse me. Darren Woodson. He's the one who won he's the Woodson who won the Heisman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Michigan two-way player. Yeah, okay.
No, Charles.
I wanted to say Charles Woodson.
Charles
Why did
Woodson.
I say Darren Woodson was on the Dallas. Rod Woodson was on there. Charles Woodson. That's the Woodson I'm thinking of. Charles Woodson's rookie year wasn't the greatest. Let's be honest here. Charles Woodson wasn't the Pro Bowl Hall of Fame quarterback on his first season as well. So to say that he's going to come in and be that great on his first year where they don't even know whether they're going to keep him as a cornerback or they're going to line him up as a receiver, whichever way he's going to play. If he plays, whichever way he does play, however they get him the ball, there's going to be some time to figuring it out. So I'm not expecting anything good out of Travis Hunter for his first season. I am expecting it out of his second and third seasons because the guy's got that. So to compare him to Deion, who at that time was not only electrifying, but was the fastest guy running backwards and forwards, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Travis Hunter not dominating like Deion did. All right, because it's speed, especially youthful speed, will dominate in ways that nobody else has ever done that. Let's look at Devin Hester. Devin Hester, his first NFL season was the one that he had all of those record-setting kickoff returns and punts and all that other stuff. And slowly over the year, as the wind and grind of an NFL season gets on you, a little bit of the speed goes out, and that's where your talent has to show through. That's where Deion's talent showed through towards the end of his career, where he was just exclusively a cover cornerback, and he wasn't a kick. And he was just that. He wasn't playing on offense, and on top of that, if he was doing anything offensively, he was returning punts, and that was basically it. So I would say that Travis Hunter, yeah, dude, you got a lot of things that you're about to have on your plate right now. Your play for this season. Did we just lose everything?
No.
Oh, fuck.
I clicked the wrong button.
Scared the
Keep
shit
talking.
out of
We're
me.
good. I'm like,
wait a second. Yeah, but as long as he's got a lot that's going to end up being on his play for this season. He's going to end up having this, and he'll be a better man for it. But yeah, 10 years, man, you're being very, very generous if you're going to get 10 years. I'm going to, at most, 4. And the only reason why I say 4 is because I think 2 years of divorce proceedings will precede it.
Whew. 4 years. Wow. Okay.
Sorry.
Interesting. So you're under my prediction of 7. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think too that Travis's size is going to be hindrance to longevity. Like if you look at what LeBron did over in the NFL. LeBron, his first couple of years, he was a lot leaner, right? But in order to take the endurance that's needed in a league where, like, there's a stretch of size-wise in the NBA. You've got your smaller, leaner, quick guys, but at the position that LeBron plays, there were people that had more muscle mass to them. I don't know. I'm not a sports
psychologist,
physiologist, or whatever. Hey, look, if it's a word longer than 3 syllables, my Alabama brain's going to struggle. But I think that if Travis Hunter is going to survive on the field, he's likely going to have to gain a lot more muscle mass than what he does have. And if he's going to survive off the field, his now wife is going to have to not be a headache. And we'll see. I mean, she can't do anything in the public eye now, as she already, has that stink on her of just not being supportive of a guy who's won the freaking Heisman and was the number 2 pick.
Yeah, but you know what? I will give one other example. Somebody who stayed lean through his entire career and actually had a pretty long career.
Kobe?
Randy Moss.
Yes, he did. Ooh, you have a great point about that.
Hey, look, and look, some of these generational talents. If Travis Hunter is one of them, he might be able to stay that. I do agree that he has to get stronger and put on some weight. Every person will have to, and he's also young enough where he can put it in. So, but I would say take a look at Randy Moss with the way that he was playing, kind of the way that he's been pulled out. I can definitely see that, man.
No doubt. Now, normally we have viewer and friend of the show, David Cunningham, give us an ending sign off. I actually just texted him and told him that we are about to end. For some reason, some people don't get the notifications. So if you are a fan of WTF Nation Radio, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified anytime we go live on WTF Nation Radio. On the other platforms, you just have to be either following or like it or whatnot, and make sure that your phone notifications are set in a manner that when we do go live, you will get those notifications so you can come here, see either my face, that avatar. You got my main man, Pop Culture Warrior, CQ, you Ice, Radar, Spanky, whoever decides to cam up. If as long as you are following or you hit that notification, you will be able to check us out. Now, we do have a comment section here, and let's see what this is. We have over on Facebook, bring it back up here, Clyde Wardell Jr. said, Cindy, I didn't realize your dad wore so many hats. He was loved by a lot of people and sure did help a lot of people. The service was very nice. Take care, and we'll see you soon, I hope. I don't know who that is, but they sound like a lovely person. I don't know if Clyde is responding to the right thing that Clyde thought that they were responding to.
I don't think Clyde. Clyde. I don't. Tell me what planet you're on, buddy.
Now, Clyde, thank you for commenting. If you could clean that up, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see if David's going to have something in text. He does not. So we are going to end our show. Coach, thanks for coming on with me. I'm glad that ChatGPT did not take you over, and that you are able to provide us with your commentary. I would have loved to seen the Knicks take it to Game 7 and win it. Like just because that market would have at least given us a more. I'm not gonna the game might not have been exciting, but just the commentary around it would have been exciting.
Just the fact that games 3 and 4 and possible. They do 2-3-2. Game 3 and 4 and possibly Game 5 are going to be at the Garden. That would have ended up being like New York when they were in the finals was a freaking brilliant time. Maybe just reminiscent off of that, but yeah, it would have been freaking nice. But like usual with the Knicks, I am. You know what? That's maybe another thing as far as New York sports fans. A lot of people keep saying, "Hey, New York sports fans, they're terrible. They all they want is championships. They think they're better than everybody." Well, no. Here's the thing: the Yankee fans are the only ones that do. Let's be quite honest. Jets, Mets, Knicks, Rangers, the freaking the Islanders, the Devils, none of them have won a championship in over 20 fucking years. Every single one of them are as freaking bitter as possible, and none of us give a crap about anything until they reach the finals because we've been around all of this crap. So none of us are going to get hyped up for anything before the finals. We will get hyped up for the finals, and we expect them to get to the finals because at this point, that's all we care about is them winning a championship. It's been too damn long for them to win a championship. That's why we care about it. Yeah. And look, yeah, I mean, you can't tell me that being a long-suffering Knicks fan for 43 years of my life and long-suffering Jeff Gant for the same thing, probably even more when I was in utero, I was a Jet fan. I know how bad it is where my teams don't win. I've had one fucking team of mine two fucking teams of mine that have won a championship in my lifetime. Okay. So don't tell me New York fans would have fucking are arrogant. We know about shit because we have to deal with the fucking Jets and the fucking Knicks. So don't fucking tell me that we don't freaking know what the hell it's like losing. Yeah, we fucking do. We lose in everything except for baseball, and even baseball we haven't won anything in 16 years. Yeah, so come on now. We're all pissed off about it.
Before we close out, somebody said I'm not gonna if I was gonna cover the Zion Williamson story. So just a quick brief overview of it. Pelican star Zion Williamson is named in a adult sexual transgression lawsuit. There's certain words that you can't say, but it is involved in a lawsuit alleging abuse that began at Duke. There was a lawsuit that was filed on Thursday in the Los Angeles Superior Court, in which the Pelican star and former number one pick was accused of sexual transgressions and emotional abuse, in which his accuser, identified as James Doe, alleges that Williamson put her through a continued pattern of abusive, controlling, and threatening behavior over a 5-year relationship that began at the former 5-star career at Duke. The Pelicans have yet to comment on the lawsuit involving their franchise player, and the 12-page legal complaint, which I looked over a little bit last night, alleges this abuse over several years and across multiple states. And there's a couple of things in there that's going to make this kind of a legal challenge. But Zion's lawyer came out and quoted, "We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness and we unequivocally deny them. The allegations contained in the complaint are categorically false and reckless. This appears to be an attempt to exploit a professional athlete driven by a financial motive rather than any legitimate grievance." Now, y'all have heard me talk on here about Zion, and I said that Zion is a dumbass and that he makes bad decisions all of the time. And I wish I had AI that could go back and find the specific minute. I said that we're going to see his downfall be because he has no salami discipline. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yep.
So his fall and his demise is his own doing.
No, you are absolutely right. And man, Zion should have been. Everybody thought he was going to be the next Barkley, and it's sad that he isn't. It really is sad that he isn't. But man, he has nothing to blame but himself. And on top of that, all of his salami out there, he's been eating too much salami too. That's the other thing that's also helped him out.
Hey, we do have David Cunningham in the building. He said, "Hey, King and Coach, thanks for the lifeline." Hey, David, I appreciate you popping in. He normally asks if I can send him the link, but I was running behind today. So, David, I do appreciate you popping in. We are wrapping up the show. If you got something that you want to put out there, David, to close out our show, now is the time. And we're going to try to fill some air until we see those words come in.
Wow.
So tune in tomorrow.
Oh, by the way, yeah, tune in tomorrow. Yeah, I was going to say, you want me to do the preview thing or something, or you want me to get on that?
You got it.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, we come to you live 7 nights a week on Monday through Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. Hawaiian. We are coming to you live every Monday with the Monday edition, brought to you by Ice and Mad Mike. They will be talking about whatever BS has been happening in the world. On Tuesday, we have Pop Culture Warrior with CQ, Angry Elf, and, Mad Mike's also on there too. But hey, whoever's getting up on there, actually, yeah, Massey's on there with on Monday edition, but yeah, Mad Mike's up there on there, and I don't remember who the hell CQ's got, but he's going to be getting us sheets here pretty soon with what's happening on everybody's show. So yay, hooray for that one. And then on Wednesday we've got TZ and Radar with the Smoke Pit. Yes, great show out of them. Seeing them on there to Wednesday, and then Thursday we've got Sarge Time with Ice and Spanky. Friday we have FTX. CQ is back. King, are you joining him on FTX this Friday?
I will. Yep.
All right, King will also be there at FTX this Friday, so definitely check it out. God knows what game they're playing, but they're going to be playing something online. And then, speaking of online gaming, let's also talk about Nemo, who had like 100,000 freaking people last night on this massive streaming that they did with playing the new game. It looked great. Yeah, check them out on Saturdays as well. Instead of sitting in the barracks and masturbating, it's actually better just doing this for your own health, just to watch Nemo instead of doing that. So yeah, do that. Then come back with us on Sunday, as next week we will most likely be talking about somebody who calls herself Butter Pecan. I don't know who that person is, but we may be talking about them, talking about other things. Yeah, we got to figure out what we got next week. But yeah, coming to you live and gotten everything. Has David said anything yet?
Yes, he has.
Dave?
He has.
All right, let's get David up. Yeah.
All right, so to end our show, David Cunningham said the following. Thank you for joining the WTF Sports Bar here today. The NBA is heating up, so strap in as it's OKC versus Indiana in the finals. Have a great week, all. David, I appreciate you with your ending show words. I always look forward to them. And with that, that's Coach. I'm King. Salute to y'all, and have a great start of your week. Roll Tide.
Oh, dear God.